Hi, listeners. Welcome back to Page to Picture. I'm your host, Kim.
And I'm Tiff, and today's episode is for all of our romantasy lovers.
Yes, we are so excited because we are joined by a debut author who has completely swept us away with her richly imagined worlds, her fierce heroine, and some seriously it's like a tongue twister. Hold on. And some seriously swoony, slow burn romance. There we go.
Yes. Slow burn romance. Chef's kiss. Her book, Unraveling Ember, is packed with political intrigue, hidden magic, forbidden love, which that's another chef's kiss right there, and themes of identity, grief, and empowerment, all wrapped in a stunning fantasy setting.
It's giving high stakes drama, chosen family, and the kind of magic system that'll make you want to reread chapters just to soak it all in.
Yes, so please join us in welcoming the incredibly talented Yestira.
Hi. Say hi to our listeners.
Hello. Hi, listeners.
Thank you so much for taking the time and being on our podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you for having me. This is so exciting. Somebody was asking me my plans this weekend. I was like, I'm going to be on a podcast.
Yeah, you're like, make
That's
sure
so
you
exciting.
listen to it. It's going to be amazing.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's awesome. We love talking to authors, and we just think this is such a great experience for everybody. And we loved your book. I know Tiff especially did. She is a romantasy.
I love romantasy
person. Like, she lives in the world. So we enjoyed it so much. We thought it was so great. And I was like telling Tiff, I was like, I'm so surprised this is like your debut novel. It's so good.
It is so good. Literally, I ate it up.
Yeah. No, it's so
makes
good.
me so
it makes
happy.
you want more. I'm just like, is there? I want more, please. I know you just
Well, there
said
more.
I
I promise.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. We believe every author has an origin story. So we want to know what your origin story is. How did you start writing? Where did this all begin for you?
I think growing up, I was always a huge reader, and I feel like a lot of writers start off obviously as loving reading. And you know what? It's funny because when I used to talk about this before, I always talked about Unraveling Ember being my first story, and it technically speaking it's my first complete book. But there is a stint of time that I was writing on Wattpad.
Tip,
and
she's probably read it. She has introduced me to it. Yeah.
So, I'd never finished that story. I probably wrote like 12 chapters and then I completely fell off. It was like during high school too at some point.
Yeah.
It usually is.
When I was thinking about it today, I was like, oh wow, I should go back and see like what my writing looked like back then versus now.
Oh yeah.
But that was my first like a little bit, oh, I have a story I kind of want to tell, and then I didn't finish it. And then this one came during college, 2021. I was on my way to Chipotle and I was listening to Christina Perry's The Lonely. And I'm sitting in traffic and I kind of just started daydreaming. I don't know, I'm a little delusional sometimes. So I was just like building a scenario in my head and I was like, that would be a really good book. So I got to work and I wrote it in my notes app. And then from that point on, I started writing it. But again, I was very inconsistent with it. I would write for like a couple months and then I would stop. And then I would write for a couple months and I would stop.
Yeah.
And then last year, 2024, I probably wrote at least half the book. So then like, I would say, let's say chapters 17 through 37. I think that's the last chapter I ever got written last year. And so then I had to go back once I started my editing, to like completely kind of rewrite the first half of the book because I didn't sound the same. Like I realized like somehow like my writing style had changed. My like the editing and things that I was doing were different. The voices were different, and I was like, this isn't. So I had to kind of rewrite the whole beginning.
Wow.
Yeah, but that's kind of how it all started. Was just listening to a song, daydreaming a little bit, and then here I am.
Inspiration. Oh my God, that is crazy.
I love it.
Me too.
You're not Delulu because I do that too. I'll hear a song and I'll be like just in my head, like coming up with this whole story. And I'm like, oh my God, that is genius.
She's like, that was a good book.
That was a really good book that I just thought about. And then I try to write it, and I'm like, this is not, I can't anymore. That's so funny. I love that. Wait, can we talk about the Wattpad thing? Because
Oh, she's like
Yes.
obsessed
I
with it.
had this like as when I was in high school, I came across it, and I was like, what is this? Stupid. And I like stayed up to like 3 a.m. reading like nonstop.
Yeah.
And then Manacled came out, and someone had told me to read it, so I went to AO3 to read it, and I couldn't find it on there for some reason. And so I went to Wattpad, and someone just copied the whole thing and put it on Wattpad. So I started reading it on there, and then it just spiraled into like
It like took over her life.
it took
has
over.
like taken
And then
her
AO3
over.
just kind of came back into the picture, and I was like,
No,
well,
because
here we are.
Wattpad is like the addictive, like bad reality TV show writing.
Yes.
Sometimes there's really, really good authors on there, but then there's also like the writing on there that isn't like the greatest, but the plot is plotting. So now you have to read everything. So
See, I need to get on
I'll
it.
ignore the mistakes and the spelling errors and the childish comments that are being written, and I'll read it though.
Yeah.
Kim, you gotta get it.
I know. I feel so out of the loop. I'm like not
You've
in it. I
missed
need
your
to get in it.
Wattpad era.
I
So now
know. I
it's your
never had
time.
it when I went
You
to
know
high
what?
school.
What I don't remember her full name, but the author who wrote Anatod Joy or Anatod something that wrote After, she started on Wattpad. So you know what, dreams can can come true.
Exactly. Listen,
It all starts
Wattpad
somewhere.
holds
It
wonders.
all starts somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, so your book blends romance, political intrigue, and mythical creatures. Where do you usually draw creative inspiration from?
Similar to the way that this book started, music is probably one of my biggest inspirations, I guess, or like what I used in order to like kind of continue the plot. In the beginning of the book, I think if you there's a page that has like songs that are meant for specific chapters.
Yes, I
and those were
loved that
songs.
so much.
Thank you.
Yes.
I was like, hold on, I am obsessed. When I read that chapter, I like played that song because I was like, let me get in the mood. No, that was awesome.
Thank you. Those were like I would listen to those songs pretty much the entire time, or the entire time that I knew I was writing a specific scene. But I think that so I pull on like music a lot, and then like kind of on my like own experiences. I think now that like as an author, I go around narrating in my head all the time. Like I will do something and I'll experience it. I'm like, okay, how would I write what I just like did? Or I work downtown Chicago, and so when I'm walking like through the city and I'm listening to, I feel like the main character all the time because I'm listening to the music
Never be a
and I'm
side
like,
character,
okay,
always be a main character.
We are the main characters.
Yeah.
Yes, always.
So music, I think music and then just kind of trying to draw on my own experiences are like the two main things that I use to continuously inspire the writing, and then the story itself is a whole different monster, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, so like that transitions into my next question is like, what inspired you to create like the magical world? So like for me, any author who can create a magical world, who can provide me a map, which you did, thankfully,
I love a map.
and have complex characters with it, like how is there anything that inspired you to create besides music, like to create this whole nother world?
So when I set out to write this, I knew that I wanted there to be like some kind of magical species that wasn't fae. And I do think that, I mean, I do draw on like certain parts of it. But I didn't want to write another fae book. Not that fae books are, I love fae. That's, I love romantasy in every capacity. But I just wanted to try to write something slightly different. So in here we have the Arelt, and that was just a lot. Okay. A lot of the things that I came up with in here were me like coming up with words, Googling them to see how many results would come up. And if there weren't a lot of results, great. Now I have a new creature because
I
was
love
used
that.
before. So there's two made up creatures in there. I think there's like withers and whelps are like the two like kind of made up creatures. The Arelt is like the made up species of like, magic basically magic humans that live a really long time.
Mhm.
And then there's the two kingdoms, Agatharia and Clyeria, which
Yes.
in the next book to this, I'm gonna put in a pronunciation guide. I made a video of a pronunciation guide, but I realized it's probably better to have it in the book so that
I
people can
just
know.
say it how I feel it sounds, and then
Oh,
I just
She
absolutely.
really
and
does.
that's
She'll
it. I don't care.
abbreviate or she'll like make
Yeah.
up a new name.
Oh,
I'm
and
like,
I'm
Yeah.
absolutely here
okay.
for
I
it.
do my
I tell
best.
people I tell people all the time who ask me like, "Oh, how is this supposed to be?" This is how I did, but you are more than welcome to pronounce it however you want. Like, okay, one of our main love interests, I say Aris, but I know a lot of people say Eris.
That's what I
And it brought me
say.
Yeah.
back to like the resand, the resand versus rysand debate and things like
Oh
that.
my
It's like
god.
go with go with what your heart,
You're like, it's
tells
the
you.
same person. It's fine.
Right.
Yes.
So, um, so when creating the kingdoms themselves and like the setting or like the even like the political plot of it all,
Yeah.
I think part and due just brain to page and then part experience. I come from a split household, so like my
Mhm.
parents are split, they're both married to other people now, but I'm also the eldest daughter,
Mhm.
and so I think like Ember being at like the center of these two different kingdoms definitely comes to play from like some of my own experience of being from
Oh.
two different households.
Mhm.
It was very cathartic. I 100% did not set out to write the book like that. Um, to or like to even include, or I didn't think I was including that kind of stuff where I was pulling on like my own experiences until then I
Yeah.
started rereading my book and I was like, oh,
You're
this
like,
is my
is this
therapy.
about me?
This is familiar.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
wait, did I just write about me? Like, what is this?
Yeah. Yeah. And I get questions like that all the time, like, "Oh, are you the main character?" I'm like, "Well, no. I did create this entire character to be, her own person, but did I write what I know? Absolutely. And I didn't do
Yeah.
it intentionally, but that's what ended up happening."
Yeah.
It's like in the back of your mind, right? It's like a subconscious and you
Mhm.
don't really realize it until it's all laid out there and you're just like, oh, like I
Yeah.
actually wrote about me. She's like, watch my powers. Watch this.
Right. Right.
I love it. So I know that we talked about like you listening to music and that has a lot of work in your writing. So what does your writing routine look like? So when you know you're about to sit down and write, what do you do? Do you have like a certain playlist that you play or any snacks or is there like candles? Like what's your routine like?
Um, Typically, I sit down and I have literally, it's not creative at all. It says writing music. That's it. That's like the playlist that I've
Yeah.
created. And depending on the chapter that I'm writing, I won't necessarily play the entire playlist. I will choose a specific song and then put it on repeat because sometimes I find that if I'm writing a chapter and I know that this specific chapter has one specific vibe, I don't want that to be skewed by me
Right.
having like different types of music that's playing. And so I'll play
Yeah.
one specific song on repeat to get through that chapter. Or if I know that I'm moving into a slightly different vibe within the same chapter, I'll switch it then.
Mhm.
Um, but typically it's just my laptop and the music. Because if I if I do have snacks or if I have even a drink, I guess I find that if I'm starting to move away from the screen, that I'm more likely to, oh, I'll pick up my phone or do something. And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
Right,
stop.
right.
You're like stay focused.
Yes.
Like, I gotta
Precisely.
finish this chapter. I have to finish this book.
Yes.
Oh
I
my
need
gosh.
to start doing that because when I write, I have a drink and my phone is charging in front of me, and then I got music playing, and I'm like, sometimes it really vibes with me and I'm going. And then
Yeah.
other times I'll be writing and I'm like, I look at my phone, I'm like, well, let me just see.
Right.
And
And
then
then
you
I just
stop
Yeah.
stop and
writing.
Yep.
I'm like, 4 hours later, what?
She's like, I only have 3 words on my screen.
Yeah, I'm like, what is this? The chapter
Yeah.
is not written.
So let's
Um,
talk about your debut novel real quick. So, for
yay.
those who haven't picked it up yet, which they are completely missing out, can you tell
Yes.
our listeners a bit about Unraveling Ember and what they can expect? So, give us a little
Sure.
rundown of the book.
Man, this is always the hardest question. Whenever somebody comes up to me and they're like, "What's your book about?" And I'm like, I don't know, what is it?
You're like,
Here's
here's
a
later.
he's like, here's a screenshot of the blur. Read this, and
Right.
there you go.
My first ever like signing was in a coffee shop, and
Mhm.
and what I ended up doing was like, oh, do you want to just read the back of the book?
Yeah, you're like,
She's like,
"Here."
you'll probably get more information from this back of the
Yeah.
book versus me telling you what it's about.
Okay, so Unraveling Ember surrounds our main character, who I always refer to as a self-sacrificial princess. She's the heir to the throne, and she spent her entire life with her court uh learning how to be the most like regal, professional, like perfect type of people. They have to be the best of the best within their kingdom, or else why are they the royals? Why are they the ones that get chosen? So academically, artistically, they are shaped to be these just incredible kind of people. And so we start the story right at the end of that learning, that schooling.
Yes.
And you're introduced to a bunch of like my favorite characters. The court is really fun. Our Princess Ember has a personal royal guard, River.
Yes, she does.
And he
Yes.
is stoic, he's cold, he's silent most of the time at first, and she's really drawn to him, but she doesn't understand why he won't even look at her. And so that takes us through, and eventually you meet kind of the complete opposite, the charming, seductive, he's got away with words, Aris, Prince Aris. Prince Aris is our he is the heir to the kingdom of Clayeria, who they are at war with. And from that point on, you kind of get thrown into this for being a like political pawn. So she gets, put into an arranged marriage with him to hopefully bring
it.
peace.
Yeah.
But there's so much more going on beyond that, because that's what, you think like that's what the main plot is doing this for all the peace, to hopefully bring these two kingdoms at rest from the war that they've been at. But simultaneously, now her heart is torn in two, and she has no idea who she is. She has these powers that she doesn't know where they came from. Nobody else around her has them, and she's keeping them secret because she doesn't know what else to do with it. But the more that she keeps it secret, the harder it is to control. And I think control is probably one of the main plot points of this book, because she can't control her powers, she can't control her heart, she can't control the things that are going on around her. And she's struggling for that control. So that's kind of her journey, and
it is so good.
I love it.
Thank
I love
you.
it so much.
Me too. It is so good. It's like, for me, fantasy, romantasy, it's Tiff's like jam. Like, that is her bread and butter. Like, she will die on that hill. For me,
I will
it's
forever and ever.
Yeah, for me, it's like hard. So I always say, especially like the big name romantasy books, I always have to do like an audible, because it's hard for me to like read them and try to like get in the zone and like get immersed into it. But I will say, with your book, I was heavily immersed. I was like reading it. I was ready. I was like, this is so good. It's such an easy like read. For me, I was like, okay, I can do this. I can read it. I feel like if I read your book first and then read all these big names, then I could probably be like, okay, I could read these like other books. Like, your book was really good. So I loved it so much.
Thank you. I have told people, unlike when I did set out to write it as a romantasy, that I didn't want it to necessarily be like what I would probably consider like a high fantasy, where it is like that Lord of the Rings, like this is so dense. And so that's why I try to say like this is a good introduction to fantasy and the fantasy world. For people who haven't read it. One of my best friends, it was her first time reading a fantasy book, and she really enjoyed it too. I mean, as she should, she's my best friend. But
as she should.
But for a first time fantasy reader, I think I try to make it palatable for them.
Yeah. I think this would be
a really
book.
good job at doing that.
Yeah. I think this
Thank
is
you.
like a good book. Tiff and I are in a book club with like our cousins, and they're not fantasy people.
I try to get them to read fantasy so much. And
Nobody
they're always
wants to do
like,
it. But I
Oh.
think
And I'm like, you guys are
this,
missing out.
I really think like this book is a good introduction, like for them. I think it'd
Yeah.
be good. So if Tiff ever gets picked again, or if I get picked again, we'll definitely recommend this book.
I'm probably never
That's
going to
good.
get picked again because they didn't like my.
No,
I'm
sorry.
sure they don't like the book that we're currently reading, which is a fantasy. And I was like, I tried to pick the most mild fantasy book for you guys, and they can't even get through it. And I was like,
Oh, what did
Yeah,
you pick?
it was
What
he-
what
it
were you
was
guys
The
hefty.
picking?
Invisible Life of
Of
Addie LaRue. Yeah.
yeah.
And I was like, it's not even, there's no dragons. There's no,
No.
it's not even
Never-
that much of a
Yeah.
fantasy. And they're
It's
like,
like
it's too
time.
much. And I was like,
It's a hefty book for them too. It's very
Yeah.
hefty. And I kept
It is-
telling them,
I
I was like, you
forgot how
guys,
hefty it was.
yeah, I was like, you guys just need to do audible, because that's the only way that I can get through it, because it's a hefty book. And they're like, no, we're just going to read it. I was like, okay, we've been reading this book for like 2 months now. Like, when are we going to meet?
We keep pushing back and I finished it in like 4 days. I was like, this is I love this book. And they're like, I'm only on chapter 2. And I was like,
Yeah.
yo.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
sorry. This is probably, but your book I think would be a good
Yeah.
introduction book to any,
Thank
like you
you.
said, to someone who hasn't read fantasy, romantasy. This is a good like introduction to it, and then they'll be obsessed, like me. I'm
Yeah.
very obsessed.
Yeah.
I when I started writing, I did not have an outline for this at all. It legitimately every time I sat to write down, I was kind of just writing until the next plot point.
Yeah.
But I knew in general what was going to happen, or that I wanted this book to be. I call this one the romance fantasy, and the next one's probably going to be fantasy romance, and that's more so because now that I've like established,
Yes.
the world, the powers, the magic, and the things that you've learned thus far, that will be much more delved into the next book. So that
Oh,
way
I love
now
that.
you've had your introduction to the fantasy, and now it's going to get a little bit more, not crazy by any
Yeah.
means, but
You're
a lot
like, you
more
dipped
into
your
the gods
toes,
and
you dipped
things.
your toes, and now you're gonna like dive in a little
Now you're
further
just
into
gonna
the
go
pool.
in. Yeah, walk in and you'll be good. So let's talk about Ember's journey, more specifically her powers. And I want to talk about her relationship with River and Aris, because my goodness.
Yes, please give us all the tea
yes.
on that. I love it.
What initially sparked the idea for her journey?
For Ember's journey, I liked the idea of like self-discovery, and the title is Unraveling Ember. It used to be just Ember because I didn't really have anything yet, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to until I realized that this entire story, which will most likely be a duology, will be about unraveling who she is at her core. And so at the beginning of the book, then say the first half of it, you get a lot of internal dialogue from Ember that is not very princess-like, right?
Right.
But she doesn't necessarily exude that outwardly until she really does like start to get it brought out of her by River and Aris. I think they're like key to bringing out the real Ember on the inside.
Yeah.
And she starts to give less what's the word I want to say? She starts to care less, I think, about what other people are going to say or think when she does start acting a little less princess-like.
Yeah.
And so that's really what I wanted, at the core of the story to be. And that takes place in different ways, whether it's with her powers and, she starts to use them increasingly more. She starts to figure out how to control them a little bit more. And that comes with the help of Yestira. And then on the other side of it is that she's falling in love with Aris and River. And of course, there's that like outwardly pressure of, oh, you should choose one. One should always be chosen, but she's tethered to both of them. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to choose, and what kind of person does that make me if I don't choose? Or so yeah, I think at the core of it all is like learning to start to make those choices for herself, even though at the same time, till like the very end, she's still a pawn that's being moved around herself. Even though
Yeah.
she wants to be moving, you know what I mean? She wants to make those choices. So
Oh my god, I can't
Yeah.
wait for book 2. It's just gonna be like so badass.
I
Like,
know.
oh my
Oh my god.
gosh.
Can we talk about River and Aris though?
Yes.
Because I need the tea. What
Yeah, like where's
inspired
your
these
inspiration
two?
on that?
Because my God.
When
I
I
love a
when I
main,
started
male character, but like, give me two, and I'm just like,
two of
yes,
them, yeah.
yes,
And two of like
please.
the best type. Like, let's just
Mhm.
come
Yeah.
on. Give us that tea.
That was kind of precisely why I wanted to write two of them, is because I have these whenever I read any kind of book or whatever, and I have like a book boyfriend. Obviously,
Mhm.
there's the really great book boyfriends, and then not so much. I'm obviously a very big romantasy fan, so I think my first introduction to like the guard princess trope was from Blood and Ash. And I only
Oh,
read the first book. I never made
Oh.
it to the second one.
I also didn't make it to the second book.
Because I read the first one, loved it, and then
Yeah.
I kind of read that like the rest of it was kind of repetitive throughout the
Mhm.
series, and I do want to eventually maybe read it, but that was my first introduction to it, and I was like, wow, I really liked that. And then I read Twisted Games, I think is the second one,
Yeah.
Yes, Anna.
and we had
Oh
Reese.
my god,
I love Anna Wong. She
That's
did that
exactly
one.
what I thought about. I was
Yeah.
like, heavily obsessed. Give me like a
I
book
said,
or
this is
follow me
great.
around, please.
Yes.
Obsess over me, please.
No, same. And that is like, so those two always kind of lived in the back of my head. I was like, oh, I would love to kind of like expound upon that. With someone like with someone who's like fighting at his core to be
Mhm.
this guard, while also, trying not to like let his feelings show. And I don't know, I like
Yes,
dig that he's
me
been in love from the
too.
very first moment, and like you didn't know because he was like struggling so hard to like keep it at bay.
Yeah.
Um so that was River for me. That's what I wanted him to be. I wanted him to be this like
The epitome of yearning.
And you're just like
yes,
rooting
Yes.
for him, and you're just like,
yes.
yes.
And like I had
River,
to
come
make sure
on.
while I was writing it that I was writing like the small things that I was hoping readers would pick up on, like when he would clench his jaw, or you know what I mean, like, or she was like, I think I
Give
saw his
us,
like his jaw
give
tick, and I was
us
like,
freaking Pride and Prejudice. Flex your hand,
I
yes,
want the hand
please.
flex. Like, oh. I
that
Give
love
it
is
it.
to
like that's what I
us.
wanted, and like,
And
and
you brought it,
slowly
girl.
see.
You
Yeah, you
brought
Oh,
did.
thank you.
it.
Yes.
You slowly see him like start to do it more, like that, or like the small touches, or
Mm-hmm.
he like grabs her knee to stop it, to kind of calm her down and ground her.
Yeah.
Like he's unraveling himself, you know what I mean? Like
Ah,
slowly but surely, like there gets to a point where I can't take it anymore. And I wanted that from River.
yes.
Aris, on the other hand, and I was trying to be very careful with like the insta love thing, because like I don't mind that, like the falling in love at first sight type
Mm-hmm.
thing or whatever. If it's done right, I like it. Obviously, I kind of wrote that a little bit. And for them to, they were a lot like River is kind of this.
Mm-hmm.
Ember and Aris are definitely this because of the trust issues
Yes.
that are there.
Mhm.
Um, and so writing Aris and writing it kind of into this, wow, I'm really attracted to you. There's a lot of tension here, but I also, because we have this rule that we're not supposed to, I'm going to try my best to stay, at
Yeah.
arm's length, was the other kind of like trope, if you will, that I wanted to dive into. So like they're in an arranged marriage, and so by default you would think like, oh, it's cool, like we should, be able to be together, but he's trying to like keep her at bay because he like almost can't control how much he like wants her.
Yeah. The
I,
yearning
I
is
also really like
strong with
that.
these
Yeah, it
men. They
really
are
is.
like,
And I'm here for it.
yes, please.
I'm all here for it.
So I wanted that. I wanted that yearning, and like you have River, who's a lot more like action based, and
Yeah.
then Aris, who's a lot more verbally based. And that definitely comes from like I could have had this all in one character, but I wanted that split. I
Yeah.
think,
I
I
love
wanted
it.
to be able
I
to
love the
kind of
split.
Me
show two
too.
different men who yearn in two completely different ways.
Yes.
Yeah. And then you
No,
have
I
that
love that.
conversation of like, are you team River or are you team Aris? And then some people are like, listen, I'm team both. Okay. Don't even
I'm team
Right.
Rivet.
don't even try and
I
split
am
me. Okay?
team Ribis. Okay. Like, give
Rivet.
me
Oh,
both. Give me both. I don't
I love it.
care.
my book club read it read it with and then we like had a little, you know, our meeting about it. Everybody was Team River. I was so surprised because I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm Team Y. Are we choosing?
Yeah, you're like, I'm team
Yes.
both of them. Okay. I don't know what you guys are on about.
They're
Right.
probably like, wait, we could pick both? I didn't know that was an option.
Like, it's
They
so
changed their
hard to
answer.
choose. Like,
Right.
because they're both just so, like, they're like exactly what we want in a book boyfriend.
Yeah.
Or just a real
Seriously.
person in general. Like, they're just exactly
I
what you
know.
want. So it's like, why do I have to pick? Come
Seriously,
on.
I tell my husband,
Right.
I'm like, can you please yearn for me like these people, like these men?
Can you clench your jaw real quick?
Can I
He's like,
walk by
"What?"
you and can you just like flex your hand because you want me so bad? Can you do something?
Right.
He's like, that's no.
Can you be Rivis?
He's like, we're married.
Here's this blueprint. I just need you to
Yeah, read this.
Yeah.
And then
I've
do it.
highlighted the chapters. I use my tabs. Just go through the tabs and read what I highlighted and bring
And
that
that's
to
it.
life. Thank you.
my husband is not a reader by any means, but while I was writing this, he would read chapter by chapter after I finished a chapter. So like he has the blueprint and
Yeah.
he's working on it.
You're like, take notes. I'll come back to
He's
you
like,
later.
he's like, are these men about me? And you're like, you're cute.
You're like, that's funny.
That's cute.
You said,
No.
I hope so one day.
Yeah.
I hope
I
you pick
love
up
it.
on what I'm writing down. Okay.
Putting
That's what I
down.
hope. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So the book explores identity, power, and emotional restraint. Your themes and tropes are so, I love your themes and tropes. And for me, it's crazy too, because like arranged marriages, I'm not always like a big fan of when I read books. But I think because you have so much going on and you don't just have Aris, you have River also. So it was a nice, like fresh way to read an arranged marriage. But like what drew you to explore like all these particular themes?
So when I normally list off the tropes, right? We've got forbidden touch, love triangle, arranged marriage, and one bed. Those are like the 4 main ones that
Give
I
me
have
a one bed
in there.
all the time.
I know.
Absolutely.
Literally.
I see a trope. I see a book and it says one bed. I'm like, sold. Where do I get this book?
You're like, what?
Yeah, done.
Yeah.
I think I wanted to write what I've always wanted to read, and not obviously these are tropes, right? So these are things that readers set out to look at. You just said it. Give me a one bed. I'm absolutely going to read it. So I wanted to write what I'd always wanted to read within one book. And so I kind of pulled on all of these ones. I mean, I grew up on Twilight, you know, Hunger Games, Vampire Diaries, and those all have love triangles. So I knew for sure that I wanted to write something like that. When it came to like the forbidden touch and the arranged marriage specifically, because those I think were like the main ones for like River and Aris.
Each guy.
The arranged marriage, it's so funny because again, when I sat down, I didn't have an outline. Actually, this entire book is based off a scene that scene I was telling you that inspired never made it into the book.
Oh my god!
So,
do you have it like off the side somewhere?
I do actually. It's on my website. So,
I'm gonna go look.
I wrote it. I wrote it just to kind of have it. Because that's what inspired the book, but then it didn't make sense, which I could talk about it because it's not a spoiler of any sort.
Okay, yeah, please.
Essentially, there was going to be a scene where Ember is like in a studio in the middle of the night, and she doesn't have anybody to play like the music for her to dance, and so she's using her powers to like play the piano while she's dancing.
Yes.
This is where the lonely comes in, because that's what like in my head like that was like the background music, and she doesn't hear River walk in, and he's watching her dance to a pianist that's not there.
Yeah.
And so it was about that and like him finding out she has powers. But I was like,
right.
The more that I wrote, the more that I realized I was like, I don't know that I want him to know about her powers. So then that never made it in there. I don't know where I was going with this tangent.
No, that
is a beautiful one though.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful one.
I love that. No, I have to go in and read it.
Yeah, so do I.
Yes, please. It's a cute little chapter. for arranged marriage, I think was just something that like popped into my head while I was writing it. Because I was like, how am I going to introduce Aris? How am I going to incorporate her into his life and vice versa? And how do I keep them close while still semi putting a wall between them?
Yeah, and he's got to be
you're
different
an
than
arranged
River.
marriage.
Yeah, and he's got
Right.
to be different too.
Mm-hmm.
I love
Right,
it.
and I can't call this an enemies to lovers because they never really like truly hate each other, because as soon as they
Seriously.
kind of start to talk and they start to kind of interact with one another, they realize that they're just the mirror of one another. They're the pawns of their individual kingdoms. Aris is just as stuck under an evil parent as she is under hers. So
It's so
I love
good.
it.
Me too.
I can't. Honestly, all the tropes are literally like the tropes that I look for. Like, I love a good arranged marriage. Like, tell me you don't want to marry me, but then later marry me. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like,
right.
just that's all I want. So was there a scene in the book that you especially loved writing? Like maybe one that just flowed naturally or left like a really strong impression that you were just like, oh, this is the best?
Yeah, I think about the chapter. We haven't talked about Jasper yet. Love Jasper. He's he's probably my
Love him.
favorite character, I think, that I wrote. And
I love it. I love it.
Because I loved him as like her best friend. And he's so great. And I think it was chapter 8, where she's just been attacked, the previous chapter.
Mm-hmm.
And then like Jasper's right outside her door, like arguing with River.
Yes.
And then she like opens it, and for the first time seeing Jasper since like being attacked and kind of realizing like, oh my gosh, I could have died and never said goodbye type thing. That moment between them, where he says, "I'd follow you." I think about it.
I obsess. I love a good side character, best friends.
Yeah.
Or sometimes like
Kim
the
really
best.
does.
Okay, give me.
We talk about this every time.
Okay,
like she's gonna ask you for a novella of just Jasper. I'm telling you right now, she's gonna ask you because that's what she wants.
Literally, I was saying, Rivis, give me like, how do I combine Jasper, River, and Aris? Like combine like all three. What?
Jarivis. Yes.
Jarivis.
Jarivis.
Give me Jarivis. No, I love a side character, especially as like a best friend. Obsessed.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And so yeah, I think writing his moments were some of my favorite. Or there's like another one where like more in the beginning of the book, like they're just in her room. He's like helping her get drunk. Or I mean, she can't really get drunk, but like they're helping, distract her from like what's going on. And I liked his comfort.
Yes.
Because when I first started writing it and you see like that there might be potentially, something going on, and then they both realize like, no, I think we're just together all the time and that's what's happening here.
We're just like besties.
Yeah. But his moments meant a lot to me. So I liked his but ultimately I think my favorite was writing the last like 2 chapters, so 36 and 37.
Yes.
Writing those last 2 ones, and finally, after my manuscript itself is 400 pages, so finally after 360 pages of writing, I finally gotten to this point where I can finally tell you what's going on. Like, like
she's like holding the secret, and she's like, finally,
yeah. So getting that off my chest and finally getting to write it was such a relief. I was like, oh. And so now when people do read my book and they're telling me they're reading my book, I'm like, all right, just let me know when you get to this page, because that's what I really want to know what you're thinking.
Let me know when this happens, and then we can start talking.
It's literally like the end of like, it's like a season finale. Like you're waiting and waiting and waiting, and then when it finally hits, you just like lose your mind, and then you're just like, I can't believe this. I need to talk to people about this.
You have to literally like close the book, and you're like, excuse me?
That's what I wanted. Like I felt kind of like not manipulative, but like toxic, because I was like, I want you guys to cry. Like I want you
I want you guys to be really upset.
I want you to have emotions. I want you to have feelings, like, and tell me about them, please.
Yes, I love when people tell me like their theories while they're writing or reading it, and like, oh, I think this is gonna happen. I'm like, oh yeah, that'd be so cool.
You're like, wow, that could have been really cool.
That sounds good.
Yeah, my
You're like,
stepmom is a
maybe.
huge reader and like theory maker while she's reading, and so she was like, okay, this is theory I've got going on, and it was so hard to like keep
That's
quiet
so
or like try to
fun.
dance around like not spoiling things for her.
Yeah.
So
That's so fun. You're just like, people are throwing you theories and you're just like, okay. That's
You're like,
cute.
that's nice.
yeah,
That's a
and now that
cute
people
idea.
are finished, when they're like, oh, I think this is gonna happen in the second book, I'm like, don't tell me. I
You're
want
like,
to
I
write this
haven't even
unbiased.
finished.
You're like, I don't want your ideas.
Don't
Stop
change
it.
my story. Don't change what I'm already trying to write.
Unless it's like a plot hole that I wasn't thinking of, and I'm like, oh, go on.
You're like, I can
Yeah.
actually
What
add
else
that in
did you-
there.
They're like, I
Yeah.
think this should happen because of this reason. And you're like, oh, I totally forgot that. Hold on.
Yeah.
I love it.
Were there any of your characters? So did any of your characters evolve in ways? Because you're not a planner, right? You just like go with the flow when you're writing. So were there characters that like evolved and like surprised you while you wrote the story? Like by midway, halfway, were you just like, oh, okay, like I didn't realize this is where it was gonna go, but here we are.
You're like, I guess we're gonna do that. It's good for you.
Yeah.
She's like every one of my
I
characters.
have to be careful. Well, yeah. I have to be careful because I think like I have a character in mind, but if I say their name, I feel like it might. It wouldn't be like a spoiler, but it would allude. A character I didn't plan to have in there, but then ended up being pretty important was Auburn.
Oh.
And she's like part of like what happens with her will like continue in book 2, which is going to be a lot of fun, and like elements of their interaction of how like it ties into things that happened before into things that will happen like after was a lot of fun. But I did not plan her. Like when I started writing while they were on like their tour, I had no clue what was gonna happen.
I love
but then
that.
she like kind of popped in there, and I
We love a good unplanned character that's just appeared out of nowhere as you're writing. You're like, oh, who are you?
Yeah.
I love that. I really do. I love unplanned anything.
Yeah,
I mean, I have nothing against
Kim loves anything more than a best friend, it's
Side
an
character.
unplanned character that wasn't meant to be like written
Yeah.
at all.
Because
She
they're
just, like,
sometimes the best.
yearns
They're
for
like the
them.
best and like, yeah. No, I love them. I love that. I'm so excited.
So good.
I'm
know.
even more excited now to read your second book.
Oh,
Whenever
thank
it's
you.
ready.
Yeah,
Whenever it's
literally.
ready.
I think a final character, I didn't even know what their personality was really going to be like until like it kind of fully fleshed them out, was Yestira.
Oh
my.
I wasn't sure how I wanted her to be, and she's like this like very good mix of like sassy and blunt, and also like so caring at the same time.
Yeah.
I always refer to her as like a female Tern from Fourth Wing. So
Oh, that's Tiff.
I love
Tiff
it.
knows all- yeah. She's
I'm
like,
a
I
fan.
totally vibe it. Yeah.
I'm totally vibed for sure. I agree with it. So let's do some personal reflection here. What do you hope readers take away from Unraveling Ember, especially when it comes to its emotional core?
My dedication is like to all the self-sacrificing princesses out there.
Yes. I love a good
And-
dedication, and I loved your dedication
Yeah.
so much.
Sometimes dedications are what makes me want to read the book. And when I saw your dedication, I was like, I'm already hooked. I can't.
Yes,
Nobody talk to
same.
me. This book is for me.
She gave a playlist, she gave a dedication, and she gave a map. And I was like, check, check, check. Let's read this book.
I saw the map and I was like, I love this. I love a good map because I need to know where I am. I need to know where I am.
I drew that myself, and I was actually kind of scared about it because I was like, I hope this makes sense to people. Like when they're like,
you're like, it makes sense to
looking at
me.
it.
No, it's so good.
Like I even included, there's like a little campsite that's right next to the A in Atrevelian, and that's like where they camp. You know what I mean? Like I was like, oh, that'd be fun to put in there. Like, but okay, so back, it's to all the self-sacrificing princesses, and I think that could be anyone. I mean, I've had females and like women and men read this alike, and I've had a lot of people tell me that they could resonate with Ember a lot in different ways.
Yeah.
I've had people say like, you know, the way that she speaks in her head versus how she speaks out, and how much internally she keeps in, that people
Mm-hmm.
really resonate with that you never really can always say what you want to say. Um,
Yeah.
and as well as being this person that continuously sacrifices for the people that she loves because she doesn't know any bounds beyond that, and putting
Yeah.
everyone first. And what I wanted people to take from that is not that I think that they should do that, right? That's not healthy. Um, but that if they find themselves doing that, that they learn how to eventually put themselves first. And I think you find that Ember starts to do that when she
Mm-hmm.
starts to choose to love the way that she wants to, or dress the way she wants to, letting her hair down when she wants
Yeah.
to. Um, those little things that I think you know, to day-to-day people that don't necessarily think about that, about not being controlled in that manner, or not doing the things for themselves because it's not even at the forefront of their mind. I want it to be. I want them to read this book. I want them to see themselves in her, and that sounds kind of sad at first, but see themselves, but then see themselves grow with her and find, this
Yeah.
ability
Yeah.
to, um, take control of your own fate. And that's
Yeah.
also a big, in the prologue, that's you kind of set that up, or I set
Yeah.
that up, to be kind of shown that way. That this book kind of starts out with somebody who just thinks this is it. This is all that I'm meant for and all that's going to happen to me. And it's like, hey, no, you have so much more, to come.
I love
I love it.
that. Me too. And I
I
feel
love it
like,
so much.
sorry, Tiff, but I feel like me as the oldest sibling, you have this, you have this thing where you taking care of everybody. And especially as and I know Tiff's a parent and you're a spouse and you're just kind of putting everybody else first. And you've got to
Mhm.
take the time to just be what I need to put myself first and what I want to do and
Yeah.
be who I want to be. And sometimes it's
Mhm.
okay to say no, and it's okay to just do your boundaries and be who you are and to express that. So I love Ember. I love her so much. So I love her and I love her journey and I love her character and I love literally unraveling her, right?
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
obsessed with it. So well done. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I think we've touched base on this, but so Ember, obviously, the question was, is there a character in the book you personally relate to the most? But it's gonna be Ember, right? That you,
Yeah. Yeah. Because I think there's so much of me in her, and she's still so much of her own person. But I wrote through her and through her
yeah,
eyes and through like I said before, my own experiences to kind of curate her story. Um, and again, as the eldest daughter as well, as the eldest
yeah,
sibling, and there was so much of that I had written that made me feel seen because it was on
yeah,
a page and because her story was being told and because people could read this, and I didn't have to be, you know what I mean, weren't
yeah.
reading Yetsira, they were reading Ember, and I was like, cool, people are reading this story and it's a completely made up story and stuff and all of the elements, and but there's these ties of me that are in there that makes me feel seen. So I
Oh,
think, yeah, absolutely Ember for sure.
oh, I love it.
I
I
love
love
it.
it.
Um, what is something that surprised you along your writing journey, whether it was creatively, emotionally, or responses from readers? What's something that just really surprised you?
I think I have a bit of imposter syndrome a lot.
Mhm.
And the writing, I think this can sound big headed of me. I would
No,
reread the things that I wrote and I was like, oh my God, I wrote that. And or wrote
no, that's
specific scenes,
awesome.
but it's the way that I wrote it that I was continuously becoming more and more proud of.
Hmm.
And I think even from book one to book two, uh, I see growth in my writing, in the way that I'm writing, picking up on things that I did in book one that I'm like, okay, maybe I don't want to carry that over to book two. And I've
Yeah.
learned from, those mistakes or things like that. And um, so I think I've surprised myself with my ability to write because I wasn't always a writer. I was in an a cappella group in college, and I think since I was a very young girl, I always thought like my big dream to make it big was going to be like, oh, I'm going to be a pop star or something. I'm going to be a singer. And that has changed.
Excuse me?
That
What?
my my passion has changed, which is the biggest surprise of all is that like, wow, I really love to do this. I already now have like another
A
book
different?
like a book idea to like do after I'm done with this one.
See, once it
So
starts coming out, it just like can't stop.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
Tiff?
there's
Tiff
no
too.
stopping it.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
we don't talk
Tiff's a
about
writer.
it, okay?
Yeah. She's got like
I'm
5 in her head.
right. Like, I have like so many notes of different ideas, and I'm like, I can't write you right now, but I really need to remember you, so I'm just gonna put you in this little app, and I'm gonna come back to you, I promise. And like, it's a whole thing. You just can't stop. Everything I do, of
Yeah.
music I listen to, interactions I have, or just seeing things around, I'm like, that would be so cool if like
Yep.
you guys totally loved each other. Like, let me write
Yeah.
about these two strangers I just saw in passing.
Well, I
It's
think
crazy.
like it also goes back to what you were mentioning earlier, how when you first started writing this book, your first couple chapters, and then you know, on and off, and then you're like midway to the end, you were like in it, and then you had to go back and rewrite because you noticed your writing style has changed. So like, I think that's cool to see like yourself and your growth in your writing. And I think that's cool. I would love for you to go back to your Wattpad and like reread what you had put.
Yeah.
I would love for
And
you
like
to send
share
me that, even
snippets.
if it's
Yeah.
unfinished.
And like
The
share
one thing I hate the
snippets.
most is the one thing I hate the most is being involved in a unfinished Wattpad story. So if you get an angry message from me when I finish your
She's
Wattpad
like,
story
I need
asking you to finish it, please. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's
more.
hilarious.
She's like, maybe I will finish it.
I'm just saying, listen, if you know, to everyone that's ever read something on Wattpad or AO3 or any sort of fan fiction, once you get invested and then you find out that it hasn't been touched since 2017 and it left you on a cliffhanger, happened to
Yeah.
me 2 days ago and I threw my Kindle. I said I can't, because I downloaded it onto my Kindle and I said, this is going to be great. I love this story. The plot is plotting. The writing is whatever, but I need to finish it. And it stopped at I was like, so I go online and I was like, maybe there's more. No, hasn't been
Nothing.
touched.
They stopped.
2017.
You have
She
to
graduated high school
find
or
that
something.
writer
I was like,
and
I
like
can't do this.
I think I wrote it's called like Loud Silence or something like that. The main character is mute by choice.
Mhm.
And I think it had something similar to do with like the kind of like siren undertones that I have here in Unraveling Ember for some stuff. So she's like that, but not necessarily singing. The things that she says come to fruition. So if she says like, "Oh my gosh, like I'm as hungry as a horse" or something, not you know what I mean? Those kinds of things that you like
Yeah.
speak in idioms all the time, and so that's she doesn't speak. And it's kind of a bully romance from what I can remember because she's in
Oh
high
my
school,
gosh.
I need
and
it.
the
No, I would
guy is
actually read
like
that. Excuse me?
the guy
Oh my God.
that I think is supposed to be like the romance, character or whatever. He like I think it starts off by like calling her a freak or something. Things like that.
And
And
you're like,
like
that's
Yeah.
where it all started.
and that's where it all starts. So like I said, I think there's like 11 chapters in there or something like that. But I could take a look at it and maybe we'll revamp it eventually. I don't know.
Oh my God. I would die like in like a couple months. She's like, I have a whole a side novella book, and it's like that. Like we
It's
did that.
a published and revamped published version. I
Oh
love
my
it.
God, me too.
And the dedication is going to be like, to all my Wattpad readers, this is the finished book.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Specifically to Tiffany.
Yes,
Here it is.
it's
Here's
finished.
here's the
Love you.
rest.
Please don't throw your Kindle anymore.
Okay, so
I trust it, man.
oh my God, Tiff.
I know. We don't talk about it.
Has there been a piece of reader feedback that really stuck with you or has impacted you in a meaningful way?
I'm still in that bad habit of like reading reviews. And so far all the written reviews have been great. And I think that there was one that was talking about the fact that the love triangle was fully fleshed. And that like kind of sat with me for a little bit because I don't know, I think of like Vampire Diaries, right? There's like 8 seasons, but you get
Yeah.
3 seasons of like one and then the rest of them is like with the other.
Yes,
And
yes.
I wanted it to be way more of a like difficult choice where like these are
Yeah.
both so good, but they also have their flaws. Because I also didn't want to make these like book boyfriends too good. Because I do
Yeah.
find like there are certain stories that I've read, um, like in like Powerless, Kai's so good, but he's almost too good sometimes to me.
Yeah.
I wanted a little bit more of that depth. So when I read that, I was like, "Oh, good! Like it's coming across like the way that I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to." Or when I call this like out in the wild, so like things that have been left that are not by friends or family. Um, I had a DM one time from somebody who talked about um like the emotional capacity that they were able to like feel and then relate to. I think also kind of like I said earlier, when I hear people tell me like, "Oh, I was able to like relate to her in like different ways," you know, because we all have different walks of life and my story is you know, different than others and I wrote this from my experiences, but for somebody to, you know, tell me that they could
Yeah.
relate to the things thinking or saying or feeling, one makes me sad because Ember has like a sad story, but also secondarily to that makes me happy that they could find themselves in that, you know? Because like I said,
Yes.
I felt seen by being able to write this story and people read it, but it makes other people be seen at the same time. So
Yeah. Oh, that must feel
I
so
love it.
great. Me too.
What advice would you give to new or aspiring writers, especially those writing in the romantasy space? Because that's like Kim said, like she doesn't understand how people can write like you just fantasy in general.
hmm
So like, what advice would you have for someone that wants to write romantasy but just doesn't know like
how?
how?
Should
Yeah.
I just start?
No, that's the hardest part, I think. And I think for any writer, when you start and you want to like create the story, finishing it is probably the hardest part. Not the publishing, not getting through all of that because I self-published. Um, Finishing is the hardest part. So keep writing is has been like my biggest advice because that's what I had to do was keep writing. Even though it took me 3 years to write this one, um, I kept going every time that like I finally, you know, would feel the bug again. And romantasy specifically, I literally have it labeled as Ember Guide. And that's a list of every single character that I ever wrote in there, their
Yeah.
name and what they were at the time that like I wrote them. A list of all the cities and like, you know, the kingdoms,
Mm-hmm.
um, even like if I named a sea or an ocean or whatever, forest, that's all in there. And then now that I'm writing the second book, I'm including the people that I'm adding into there. So that way you can keep track. Because when you create, especially
Ah.
a fantasy setting of sorts, you're going to be meeting and showcasing so many different aspects that if you don't keep track of it, you're not going to be consistent. And then you're going to, um, I think you're going to, you know what I mean? You're more prone to mistakes at that point.
Yeah.
Because I think also, um, the way that you describe characters. So Ember is dark haired, she has these ember colored eyes, and she's kind of fair skinned, but I would liken her more to like a Latina of sorts. Like
Right.
that's what I envision her in my head. Uh River is blue eyed, he's got the black curls and he's tan. River or ours is you know, Onyx with gold flecks, he's pale and he's kind of got this like tousled, a little bit longerish
Mm-hmm.
black hair. Those are key things that I continuously like if at different points in the book I would refer to because I want to keep that picture clear in my reader's head.
Hmm.
Uh and also for like Jasper, we talk about his green eyes a lot.
Yeah.
So keeping track of those details as well is something that um I would suggest doing so that way you're staying consistent. Because if your character at the beginning had green eyes, but later on he has brown eyes, you know, because you didn't, you know, remember to do that,
Remember.
that can happen.
Yeah.
And so just keeping yourself a little consistent, especially because I didn't have an outline for book one. I do have one for book two, but still it's very, very bare bones.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it helps you stay consistent. Yeah.
Yeah. It helps you stay consistent and
Yeah.
helps so that like hardcore fans and readers are like, not reaching out to you like, excuse me, what happened to this character? They
Right.
completely changed and this world
Why
actually
did their eyes
changed.
change?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is the name of the kingdom completely different now?
Yeah,
Right.
like what is
Exactly.
happening?
And you're like, you didn't catch that part when they shifted? They
She's
shifted
like
worlds? What are you
she'd
talking
be like,
about?
"Oh, you're paying attention. I'm so sorry."
Right. I even I even have to do that within like the same chapter. If I'm writing something and they've been in one place too long, then I have to go back and I'm like, were they just sitting? Were they standing here? I literally
Oh,
I
I
was
do
writing
that
before we got
all the
onto this
time.
call and I was rereading something because I was like, I think I just said that they stood up, but now I'm not sure. So I have to go back and make sure that
and
like
reread.
the
Oh
consistency of the chapter
man.
even shows. So like those things, it's hard.
It is hard. That I've had that happen to me. There was a scene I wrote and they were sitting, and then all of a sudden I'm writing it and I was like, wait, she can't do that while she's sitting. Are they sitting? I was like, no, she's standing. And I had to go back and I was like, they're sitting. She definitely can't do that while she's sitting. I'm just gonna let's
That
just put them
brings
back.
me to certain like gestures or things you're doing. I will literally be like, Caleb, can you that's my husband's name. Caleb, can you sit here and I'm gonna do this and can you do this? I want to make sure I describe it correctly or that this is even
Yeah.
possible. So
Yeah.
yeah. Or even for like I think this is so funny whenever I see memes about readers reading spicy scenes
And
and
they
then
do it?
trying to
Oh, and they
reenact.
try to act
Yeah.
yeah. And they're like, how do you get your arm to do
I
that?
love
Yeah.
that so much.
It's so funny because I'll sit here and I'll be like, when like I'm trying to figure out how to describe how their arm would look if I hit a sword or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so I'm standing here and my daughter will walk in and she'll be like, what are you doing? And I'm like this. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, you're supposed to be writing. What are you doing with your arms?
Like, I'm
Being
acting out my
anatomically
scenes.
Okay.
correct.
I'm writing. I love it.
Okay, so finally, what is next for you? What can readers expect more from the world of Unraveling Ember? What do you have in the work?
I'm working on the second book. I'm about halfway through now.
Oh my God.
And like I said, I think it's going to be a duology. I won't know until I finish this, but that's my plan is for it to be a duology.
Okay.
My books write itself, like the way that, like I said, like I feel like it just goes brain. There's no processing. It's just like brain to page.
Mhm.
But from Unraveling Ember and like what you're going to see more from Ember is a bigger dive into the world of the gods, actually, and the role that
Yeah.
they play. Because I think the notion of fate is interesting, and that's part of like
Mhm.
partly why it's a plot point or like an underlining theme for this book and why it starts off talking about fate.
Mhm.
Um, is the intricacies of do you have one design plan, path for you, or do you have millions of choices and like
Right.
how that affects you later on. Because if I decide to go left today instead of right, did that affect, what I mean, in a different, universe or something like multi-universe
Yeah.
series?
Everything that's written about that has anything to do with fate. Like even I write about it. I can't, like I'm obsessed. So I love
Yeah.
this. I'm excited.
So we're gonna definitely dive into more of those themes of, like giving gods different personalities and things like that. Like
Ah, me
I love it.
that type of stuff is definitely what you can expect more from. And then, um, kind of the journey of like, is there still that Aris versus River and can I trust Aris? That kind of wow, I lost my words.
too.
I think you get the gist. Like that's like what I'm gonna be
Yeah.
diving into more when it comes to the second book. And then hopefully after I finish writing that, I will be starting a new book. And that one I wanted to write about like fallen angels.
Oh,
Ooh.
I loved Fallen, I think was like one of my favorite high school books. But there's a lot of like I kind of want to incorporate like Greek mythology, so like a lot of
Mhm.
different gods, but incorporating that aspect of I guess if you want to call it Christianity, where it's like the that they're being like angels of some sort, but like combining the two. So it's a completely different thing, but
Ooh,
those are the elements that
different.
I'm going to be pulling on.
Oh, I love it.
Me too.
You
I
had me
haven't
at
read a
Greek
book.
mythology,
I
and you had me
haven't
at
read a
fallen
book like
angels.
yeah, I haven't read a book like that, and that's really interesting.
That
I think
for like the
she's like
main
working on
characters
it.
for those are like the main female character is the daughter of like creativity and it's in my notes. It's really interesting because I'm so excited to
She's like, I'm invested in this. I have to
talk
hurry up and
about
finish
it.
my second
Oh,
book so I can start doing this.
right. It's been in my head for so long. So she's a daughter of a god of creativity and goddess of healing, and then the main male character is the son of god of death and the goddess of nature. So kind of like the son of life and death, essentially. And yeah.
Oh my.
So in this
Okay, so
one,
let me
it's
know when
when
that's done too.
I know.
So I can read it. I would love to read it.
She's
so
like,
those are
I
the
will
two
sign
things
up
that
for
I
the
think I'm
arc.
gonna be working on.
Yeah. You'll see my name, and
That's
I'll put
something
Wattpad
I
as my
didn't-
last name, so you know it's me.
That's something I didn't do for Unraveling Ember because I didn't really know anything about the world of self-publishing, and so I will 100% be having like an arc readers and like I hardly even know what a street team is, but I'll try. You know what I mean? Those types
Oh,
of things.
we
Yeah, I have no idea what
Going
a street.
forward.
No, I
Kim
love.
is in all these street teams, and I'm like, I don't know
I
what
love
that
it.
is, but should I have one? I don't.
No,
Yeah, that's where
I
I'm at
love
right now.
it.
Like, I have no idea.
Especially when it's a book that I enjoy reading. I love like you're essentially like part of this little group, a team, and you're helping just like spread the word of your books and like with images and release dates and the stuff that you're posting on your social media, like we also post on ours, just like get it out there. So if you do end up doing a street team, let me know and I will gladly be a part of
Wonderful.
it.
Me too.
Yeah.
Thank
Oh
you.
yeah.
I'll be in there. My first street team.
It's fun.
I'll
And
be
I
in my
love a good
first one.
art.
Okay.
Yeah. This is fun. I'm excited. Do you
I am
have like
gonna
a
sign up for an arc if you do it. And
I
your last
yeah.
name will be Wattpad. So you'll know
Great.
it's me specifically.
Do you have like an ideal like timeline of when you want your second book to come out?
My hope is by the end of this year. Unraveling Ember came out at the beginning of this year, so I'm hoping
Yes.
for essentially kind of like the same-ish timeline. So either at the end of this year or the very beginning of next year.
Mhm.
It's like waiting. You're just waiting.
So excited.
Yes.
And if not sooner, but I try to give a longer timeline just in case.
Yeah, of
just in
course.
case.
Mhm.
I love it. Okay, great. I'm so excited. I'm excited for book 2. Do you have an idea of a title?
Oh, I want there to most likely it would be another like ing verb and then ember, but
Yeah.
figuring out what that's gonna be. This title didn't come until I was almost done with the book anyway, so
Right,
it
because
might
you
be
were
a
like,
little
it was
bit
just Ember
before.
at first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
She's like, maybe this one will just be Ember.
Yeah, maybe.
This is her. This is
As
her.
of right now, it is just Ember.
Right.
Ember 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's time for a little fun before we wrap things up. Some rapid fire questions. Don't think too hard. We're just gonna
Okay.
go at it. If Unraveling Ember was being turned into a movie or TV show, who would you have casted as Ember and our 2 main men?
Okay, so I know 100% that River was based off of Henry Cavill. Like he is like the young Henry Cavill.
We are. Stop.
Oh
Yes.
my.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he's like number 1.
Yeah, we love him.
And then for
I literally can't.
We love him so much.
I love him. I went on a tangent with our last author that we interviewed.
We had like
about him.
We had a good 30 minutes. When I was editing our last podcast with another author, we brought him up, Henry, and I was like, why is this podcast, like, why is it so long? It's like 30 minutes of Tiff, like, going off about how she's obsessed with him. I was like, I'm gonna keep this.
Like,
I'm keeping it.
Specifically him as the Witcher is like...
Yeah.
When people
then
ask
you said
me what growling sounds like, I tell them to go listen to a montage
Go
of The Witcher.
Go watch The Witcher. Pick any scene and you will hear it because...
Yeah. I was like,
love it.
oh, when he grunts, The Witcher. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like any of that stuff.
Anything The Witcher.
Man.
Yeah. Ugh, I'm obsessed. Okay. Give us ours.
This is where it gets hard. Because in my head, they're both so hot. Like Henry Cavill is like a one of a kind, hottest man type thing,
Yeah.
and or not River Ember and ours are hard to me. Like who I would picture them as, or like a an actress or an actor. I recently watched a movie with
Aaron
Aaron
Taylor
Taylor Johnson.
Yes.
Yes. Was it Craven? Was it Craven that
Yes,
you
it
watched?
was. And I was like,
1,000%.
okay.
I
Come
love.
at me
Oh
with
my
your
God.
come at me with your like vest and your
Mhm.
abs. The movie was shit, but like I will
Oh.
take him like
Yeah.
always.
Well,
The hair,
part of why I was
yes.
like, wait, is that ours? Because River's like a little bit more buff. He's Henry Cavill.
Henry.
Aaron Taylor Johnson is like the like toned kind of body that I
Yes.
was thinking of for ours, and that's why I was
Total
like,
Prince. I could totally
he
see
could
it.
make it work.
Like
And I
ours
would
in Bullet
watch
Train.
it.
Have you
Oh
seen
my-
Bullet Train?
Yes.
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the vibe.
Oh my God. Who was our
I
lucky
can't.
girl?
Me?
She was like, no, it's me, actually.
With Henry Cavill and Aaron Taylor Johnson alone.
I would
I
watch
know,
that
I
movie all day.
I don't know how, because there's a level of professionality you have to have when you're. I don't know how.
I could never.
I
I could
couldn't.
never.
Sorry,
They'd be like,
man.
Tiffany, you're too feral. You
Like
need to
they
stop.
would say a line and I would just melt. I'd be like, what?
Yeah.
What did
I'd
she
be like,
say?
what am I
talking to
doing
me?
again? Yeah.
I'm not Ember right now. Are
Me.
we?
You talking to me?
Yeah.
You talking to my
She's like,
character?
can we do this press tour together? Can we travel together?
Yeah.
Like,
Can we have
obsessed.
like Sydney Sweeney, what's his face level chemistry on?
Oh yeah. Let's
on
have
our
people make
yes.
TikTok edits of us. That's the vibe I'm going for.
Right.
I want the fans to make TikTok edits of us
Yes,
and force
please.
us to be together. I don't know.
Gosh, I really don't know for Ember. You know what's funny? And I hate that I have to say this because my dad was reading the book, but of course he's going to, because he's going to support me. But I was like, I don't want to think about you reading my smut, right? But
yeah.
he kept telling me that he was picturing Millie Bobby Brown.
Millie
right?
Bobby Brown.
Oh.
And I didn't see it, but I know that he was
Millie
picturing
Bobby
that because like
Brown.
a
Did he
damsel,
watch?
I think.
Yes, that's exactly what I was
Damsel?
thinking.
Yeah. And I think that partly might have played into it. I was like, but so she's one person, but I haven't thought of anybody. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I was thinking
hard.
damsel as well because she has to marry. And I get what he's saying because she has to marry to help her kingdom and all this stuff, and it's like arranged marriage, and then they end up like spoilers for anybody who hasn't watched it. They end up like sacrificing her into this like cave with this dragon, and then she has to be like a boss bitch and just be like, no, this is not what I'm gonna do. This is not what I'm about. I have to save
Right.
myself, my sister, my family. So yes, I understand in that concept.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that would be her.
Her
Ember.
look. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you guys have any like
I'm currently looking.
I know
at
you said you thought of her as like
actresses.
Latina. Yes. So I'm trying to think. Let me see real quick. Your two guys, I feel like the guys are so spot on easy.
Yeah.
It's just like, yes, please, Lisa.
Right. And I think that's the harder part is to like find like the good, like, you know, hot enough guys to do it. And thankfully Aaron
Yes.
and Henry exist. So
You're like there, they
Literally-
exist.
Any book I write and someone asks me who I would pick to play the MMC, I'm going to be like Henry Cavill. 100%.
yeah, I
There's
don't
no one
care that
else.
he's like 50 now. Like
I don't care if he's 80 years
No.
old now. Let
Yeah.
him play
yeah.
this
Let him
30-year-old
be.
man. I don't care. What about Jenna Ortega?
I love her. I think
I love Jenna Ortega.
yeah, she could potentially be up there.
I think she could pull it off.
She's a young look now, but I think like if give her a couple years, I think she absolutely could play her for sure. She's phenomenal actress.
I have been loving, and I think it's just because I love The Last of Us, that Isabella Merced girl.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she'd be a good one.
I feel like if she gets if it was older, but I love her. And I love her in like The Last of Us. I feel like she'd be good too.
You're just The Last of Us obsessed.
I
right now.
am. I'm like Pedro Pascal 24/7.
I love
I
Pedro
haven't
Pascal.
I watched the last one. I think I spent the entirety of it crying.
Oh,
Just because
yeah.
I love Pedro so
Today is the
much.
season
And
finale, and I'm so sad. I'm like,
that's
what?
today. I thought we had a couple more.
No, it's season finale. Tiff has
She
not
said,
watched it.
"Shut up!
It
I
is
haven't
the
watched it.
season
We're not gonna talk about
finale.
it."
I was like, season
Oh.
finale, we just started. What do you mean? Season finale.
They don't mess
That's
around.
tragic. I think the other one that I could potentially think of is Camilla. Oh my god, what is her name? Camilla
From Riverdale.
Yeah, her.
Yeah.
We love her too. Camila Mendez.
I love her.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes,
I
think
love her
she'd
too.
be fun. Yeah.
That'd be fun. Let's make it
So
happen.
Netflix, if you're listening, Henry Cavill, Aaron Taylor Johnson, and you have your picks.
People will watch
maybe
it.
not
There we
Millie
go.
Bobby Brown. We'll be fine
Yeah.
with that.
Do the auditions. We'll watch the tapes and we'll figure it out.
Let me go to the auditions. I need to make sure. You know,
I have to see Henry and Aaron. They have to do
Yeah.
certain scenes. They need to be
Henry,
shirtless. So
yeah.
that's how we have to
and
prepare
tell
this episode.
Henry Cavill to wear the Witcher wig just to see. Just to see. Even though he has dark hair in the movie.
Will you
We
please
just wanna
put this
see.
on?
Can you put this on for me, please?
I also think
Just
because
put it on.
Henry takes such like pride in sticking to like the original story of things.
Yeah.
You know, like
He would read
I
the
love
book and he would be like, River doesn't have this hair. And I'd be like,
Oh,
okay, but just put it on.
just imagine.
Just put it on. It's
He
an
would do
adaptation.
it he would do it so good. He would do it justice.
Yeah, he
for
would.
sure. And he would tell
Yeah.
Aaron, like, this is how you have to beat. This is what it's written in the book.
Yeah.
Do it this way.
And Aaron's like, she's not making me wear a wig.
No, we're just having you take your shirt off 24/7.
And I'm like, put this fake
Right.
mustache on. And that's it.
oh my
I
god.
love it. Okay, so what is the last book that you've read or currently reading right now?
Currently reading The Stars Are Dying by Chloe. I don't remember her last name.
Stars are dying.
It's from my book club book. We are.
Oh,
It's good so far. I'm only like
vampires.
chapters in.
Oh yeah, I have seen this book.
Ooh.
So
I heard it was really good.
It's also very pretty. It's got great sprite edges, and there's like character art throughout the book.
Oh, I
Wonderful.
love it.
This is like your vibe.
I know. I already added it to my
Okay,
watch
there we
read.
go.
Before that, I just finished Fearless, so it went from Fearless to this.
I was going to get it. I was at Target the other day and I was like, I really want to get this, but like I'm in a reading slump, so I don't want to get it and then just let it collect dust. So I was like, I'm gonna buy it when I'm actually ready to read it. But I want to read it so bad, but I just can't. So
I haven't read them.
was it good? I just need to know.
Yes.
Don't give me spoilers. But
Yes.
Okay.
I think it was like the rest of the series, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
In terms of goodness.
Yeah. I get you. I'm
She's like,
picking
I
up
get
what you're
it.
putting
She's like,
down.
enough said.
Yeah.
Okay, so because we are a podcast that talks about books turned into movies, we have to know, what is your all-time favorite movie and TV show?
Ooh, all-time favorite movie. Okay,
Like,
I'm a
you know,
huge
it's
horror
on. Yeah, if
thriller
it's on, you're
fan.
like, I'm gonna watch it no matter what.
Mhm. Hereditary. I'm a huge.
No way.
I
Whoa.
love that movie. That is 100%.
Oh, that's
like,
so creepy.
or so for horror, or Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yes.
Oh my god, I love that movie
So good.
so much. Oh my god.
Hereditary, that's terrifying.
Hereditary is
I don't
crazy.
do good. I don't
And
do
I
good
love
with
that.
like thriller, like scary.
Yeah,
I don't do
she's
good.
not.
I love
she's
horror,
not a
so-
psychological
Oh, no.
horror.
I'll read
anything
it.
like that.
I'll read it all day long.
Yeah.
Or I just saw Sinners.
Oh my god, is that like not just
Stop.
the best?
It was so good. I forgot that Michael B. Jordan was playing two people. Like,
I thought that
Yes.
Michael B. Jordan was the way he was. Okay, for a
Excuse
second.
me.
I seen
And
him
Haley
for a minute,
Steinfeld?
and I said,
Haley Steinfeld has like come a long way, people.
she really has. Yeah.
Oh
she could
my
play
God.
Ember, probably, honestly.
Yes,
Yeah.
there we go.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't care where she is.
Phenomenal.
Just put her in my
Yeah.
movie, please.
You know what? With Henry Cavill and Aaron Taylor Johnson, just bring Michael B. Jordan just to hang out.
Honestly, he he is like somebody I've fashioned one of the gods after in the second book. So
Oh, I love it.
he could play
Stop.
for sure.
He 100% could.
yeah.
I'm crying.
Seriously?
I need the arc. Okay.
Oh wait, I have to know her TV
what?
show. Her
Oh,
TV show.
Man, that
What?
is such a hard one. Okay, one of my favorite like thrillers TV shows, kind of suspenseful, was Through Her Eyes. It's on Netflix. It's about like astral projection, essentially. And I thought it was so good. I think about it all the time.
It's a Roman Empire.
Or Haunting of Hill House.
Oh, I love Haunting of
see,
Hill House.
that's
Have you
you,
seen
Tap.
like any of his other
Yeah, Midnight
stuff?
Mass.
Like, yeah. Oh my god. And then there's the Fall
Haunting
of
of
the House
Bly
of
Manor.
Usher. Have
Yeah.
you seen that one too?
Yes.
They're all so good.
phenomenal.
Like you can't.
Michael Flanagan
he's-
does not miss.
He does not mess around. Like you can't
No.
sit there and watch it and say that it's bad because it's like so good.
Yeah.
I've never met anyone else that likes.
Really?
Yeah, every time I bring it up, like Haunting of Hill House, they're like, I don't know what that is. I'm like, hey, we'll sit here and watch this because we need to talk about it. You can't not watch it. We're gonna watch it right now. Get some popcorn. Come on. And then we have to watch everything else. Like it's the whole thing.
It's so good.
I love it. Kim, you're missing out.
I love the actress because I love you.
That is
Victoria
irrelevant.
Victoria Pedretti is phenomenal.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love her.
Love
But
her.
this is like so creepy. I'm like looking at the poster. I'm just like, I can't.
Yeah.
It creeps me
But
out.
it's like it's weird because like it's not scary, but it is scary because there's a plot to it. Like there's a whole other like story to
Mhm.
the scariness that just makes it like I have to keep watching because I need to know how it like what it is. And there's all these twists and you're watching and you're like, I didn't even expect that like at all.
Yeah.
It's so
It had
good.
me drawn the entire time. And that's
Yeah.
why I would put it up there as like my favorite because I can watch it.
So good. And
anytime.
Bly Manor was the one that like there was a certain episode with a well and I watched that episode back to back. Like I rewound it and rewatched it because I was like, there's no way I missed all
That.
that.
Yeah.
That's so good.
No, it's so good.
Oh, I can't. I'm too scared.
You're
During
missing out.
do it during like October
Yes.
and like set your little spooky vibes. Put all the lights
Okay.
on if that makes you feel better.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, because they're scary, like in like terms of like, you know, they have some jump scares and stuff, whatever. But like the underlining theme of it, and this is why I love psychological thrillers and suspenseful and stuff like that, is because like the stuff that's like truly going on and like the main plot points. Chef kiss, amazing.
Okay. I'll give it a chance.
So good.
I will do a follow up in like the month of October.
Great.
We'll be waiting. We'll be
I'll
waiting.
do
for
like
it.
my live reactions watching it.
Great.
Good. All the lights are gonna be on.
My live
Just have a
reaction.
blanket. Yeah. Okay, slow burn or insta love?
Slow burn, I think. Yeah,
Like, that
Slow
was
burn.
even though
hard.
there's some slow burns that are so slow that I'm like, wait, no, can we go back?
Oh,
Yeah.
You know what I hate is when a slow burn, it's like in a series or a duology, and they're still slow burning by the time you get to the second book, and you're like, no, they're if they're not kissing by the end of this first book, I cannot read the next book because like there's no way. This is too slow of a burn. Can't
God.
handle it.
I do
okay,
love
so go ahead.
no, I was just saying, I think I like the slow burn because I like the yearning, and I think with insta love sometimes you don't get that, so that's why I like it. Need a bit of both, you know.
Yeah.
Like
Just
I'm
give me both.
instantly attracted to you and want
It's gonna
you.
take me a
but we're
minute.
gonna
Yeah, we got to work for it.
Hidden royalty or secret identity?
hidden royalty. I
Yeah,
like that.
that's fun.
That hits different
It does.
because then when the reveal happens,
Reveal?
you're like,
Yes, it's like epic.
it's epic. Secret identity is like, all
It
right,
could be anybody.
yeah, just different name. Okay. Magical training montage or forbidden library discovery?
The forbidden library.
Yeah.
Ew. I love a good montage.
I like them. I love a good magical training montage.
Yeah, me too.
I wrote a magical training
montage. Give me
montage.
a good playlist to listen while they're doing a magical training montage, and I'm like set.
Yeah.
That is really good though.
Enemies to lovers or friends to lovers?
Enemies to lovers all day.
Enemies to lovers. That's what I'm saying.
I feel like
I say it
nobody
every
has
time.
picked friends to lovers, and that is okay with us.
It's just
Every time we ask
it
that.
doesn't hit. I
It's
want you
the
to try to kill me.
passion of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the passion of it. Because if we were friends before and there wasn't passion, but then it, spiraled into passion, that happens. Cool. It's whatever. But
Yeah.
but the enemies to lover, the like instant, because you get that hate passion as well as like I also kind of want to, get you in my bed passion. So
Yes.
yeah.
It's like a mix, and sometimes like the mixture of like hate and like yearning is like it blends in, so you don't know.
Perfect. It's
Too
perfect.
You don't know what you want, but you
good,
just
yeah.
know you just want to like.
Yeah.
I love it.
Give it to us. Give it to us,
We're
Henry,
dumb.
and give it to us, Aaron.
Exactly.
We will literally tag them in this podcast. I am not scared.
Listen,
I don't care.
Shout out to Henry Cavill.
Every
Okay,
time-
if you want
Here
to
we go,
play
here
some
we go.
PC games,
He's gonna be like, "Why does this podcast keep tagging me every episode? They keep tagging me."
and then he looks at it, and it's just me 30 minutes talking about.
I'm thirsty.
No, on our last podcast, Tiff's camera went down. So when she was going off about Henry, she was like, "I'm so upset that he can't see who I am."
He can't
I was
see
like,
who I am.
"Okay." I was like, "Let's
And
go there."
now
Here
this
I
isn't.
am.
I don't always look like this. I'm sick right now, but please just believe me when I say I could dress up for a
She's
red
like,
carpet.
"Here I
Okay, I could.
Oh
I
my
could. I could
gosh.
dress up as a witcher if you're into that.
Yeah. What's her name? The girl that's I've watched the first season. I can't remember.
Oh my god, his like person.
Yeah.
I don't like to say love interest because that's not me.
That's funny.
I can't remember her name. I googled it and it's giving me all this weird stuff, and
She's
don't want to get into it.
It's good. It's taking me down a rabbit hole. I'm not trying to get into right now.
But it's bringing me somewhere. Anyways, it should be me.
She's
So that's the
actually her name is Tiffany.
exactly. Thank you. Okay, moving on because I can continue this forever, and I'll start talking about other actors, and I don't want to get you into that. So, Towering Castle in the Woods or Enchanted City in the Clouds?
Towering Castle in the Woods. I like the idea of like the vinery and
Yeah.
all that mysticalness around it. So
Same.
I'm also into that.
Aesthetically pleasing. It's very.
Oh,
I
yeah.
enjoy it a lot.
oh yeah.
This was
I know.
fun. This wraps up today's episode of Page to Picture. A huge thank you to our guests for joining us. We absolutely love getting to chat with you about your writing journey and Unraveling Ember and learning about everything that's to come with your other books. I am so excited.
So excited. My God. I can't wait to sign up for the first arc.
I
gonna
can't
be
wait
the
to be
first
on the
arc
street
reader ever. I'm so excited. Before we go, where can our listeners find you online?
I am on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok under the handle of Yet Stories. So
Perfect.
Yet Stories. Yeah.
We will
I
make
love
sure
it.
to tag and we will put that on our podcast so people can easily just click and find you, follow, and read your books. No
Thank you.
issues.
Yes. And if you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to subscribe, rate, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Official Page to Picture for all things book, movie adaptations, Henry Cavill again, and more.
You can also find our link tree on our Instagram. It has everything from new episodes to guest signups and our new merch that we just launched. I really think Tiff needs to do a Henry Cavill merch. So
Honestly,
people will
yeah.
buy it. It should
Henry
be
Cavill, if you're
it should be his
listening.
face, and it should be like, "This is your MMC." Like,
Yeah.
your MMC.
This
here.
is your MMC.
Exactly.
Literally. Ugh, I love him. So Unraveling Ember is available now on Amazon, and it's also on Kindle Unlimited. So literally, guys, you need to grab your copy today. You need to read it. I swear to you, now that you know that River is Henry Cavill and Artis is Aaron Taylor Johnson, like,
and you are
have
Ember,
to read
and
it.
you, the
And
reader, are
you,
Ember.
the reader. It's a YN. It's a YN story.
Yes,
okay?
it is.
Literally, it's so good. You guys have to get it. I had so much fun. Thank you so much. This was like such a fun episode to film.
Thank you. My
Thank you
cheeks
so much
literally
for
hurt
being
from
here.
smiling so much.
I
I
know.
loved this. This was
Oh,
a
good.
amazing opportunity. I thank you both so much. This was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Oh, that makes
Thank
us so happy.
you.
Thank you. So thank you guys so much for listening. And until next time, bye.
Bye.